children. Today I am going to teach you chapter 3 of geography, the changing earth. Firstly I'll read, then I'll explain. So firstly we will learn that what changes took place in the position of continents and ocean. How the distribution of land and water has changed. As it was earlier, now it looks different. Okay, so let's start. For thousands of years, people believed that continents they were fixed in their position. The distribution of land, water, however, has not always been the same on the earth's surface as it is today. So you can see that the picture which is given in your book, that is 225 million years ago. See the picture of the globe, how it looked, the structure of the continents, how they were looking. And at that time, when all the continents were near to one another, it was known as Pangaea. So but now when we see our globe, we see that the continents they are quite separate from each other. Okay, so the surface is not the same as it was earlier. In the year 1912, Alfred Wegener, a German meteorologist, you can see his picture, he made an attempt to explain the present day distribution of continents and ocean. So he was the person who explained how in present the continents and oceans they are distributed. He proposed that millions of years ago all the land masses they were joined together into a subcontinent, and that was called Pangaea. You can see in the picture how all the continents they are joined together. He suggested that the Pangaea broke and there was a horizontal displacement of the continents, and this is known as Wegener's theory of continental drift. Wegener's theory was improved upon by adding the idea of sea floor spreading, and the new concept is known as plate tectonics. It says the earth crust consists of plates, and those plates are called tectonic plates or lithosphere. There are 6 major plates and 20 minor plates, and they all are floating independently. The rate of movement of the plate is very slow, means they are moving only about few millimeters in each year. Okay, the energy required to move these plates is produced by the internal heat of the earth. So how these plates are moving? They are moving because of the heat of the earth. The surface area of the plates is very large as compared to their thickness, means the surface area means the area that these plates are covering is very large as compared to the thickness of these plates. The tectonic activities such as earthquakes, volcanicity, they occur along the plate margin. The plates they are continuously moving. So whatever tectonic activities are coming, where they are occurring? They are occurring at the margin of these tectonic plates, and these plates they are continuously moving. The movement of the lithospheric plates cause various changes on the surface of the earth. So just because of these movements which are occurring on this tectonic plates, they are making a lot of changes on the earth's surface. The different types of movements of the plates they are due to the various forces which are occurring on it. So on the basis of the source of the origin, we can divide these forces into 2 categories. First is endogenic forces and second is exogenic forces. Now let's study what is endogenic forces. The forces which originate from within the earth, we call them as endogenic forces, and those forces which originate on the surface of the earth, we call those forces as exogenic forces. Okay, now let's see further. The endogenic forces can produce sudden or slow movement. These forces they cause horizontal and the vertical movement. These movements give rise to the variety of relief features. So this means the endogenic forces, what they are doing, they are producing a very sudden change, a very slow change, and these forces are also causing horizontal movement. Horizontal means horizontal as well as they are causing the vertical movements, and due to these movements a variety of relief features they are coming into existence. The sudden movements are experienced through the eruption of volcanoes and earthquakes. Topic is volcanoes. In the past, a volcano was known as a mountain of fire. Why? Because it just looks like a mountain from where the fire or magma is coming out. It is actually not a mountain. It is circular opening through which hot molten material erupt suddenly. So it just looks like a mountain you can see in the picture, and through which what comes out? Molten materials. They come out suddenly, and the opening through which the molten material come out is known as vent. You can see that in picture. Sometimes the opening can be also a long crack, and that long crack is known as fissure. The volcanic core or mountain is formed when the material which comes out from the volcano, it accumulate around the vent, and the vent is connected to the interior of the earth through a narrow pipe. The funnel shaped hollow that you can see in the picture at the top, what is it known as? It is known as a crater. Now the next topic is the types of volcanoes. We'll study them one by one. On the basis of the frequency of eruption, volcanoes can be of three types. Let's study them one by one. First is active volcano. Active volcanoes are those volcanoes which erupt frequently and they throw out lava, gases, ashes, and rocks. These volcanoes are also called living volcanoes. The two examples of active volcanoes which is given in your book is Stromboli and Etna in Italy. You can see their pics. Next is dormant volcanoes. Dormant volcanoes are those which have become quiet after eruption, means no more eruption is taking place. These volcanoes don't show any indication of eruption in the near future, means even in future also they do not erupt, and that is the reason these type of volcanoes are called sleeping volcanoes. Now you can see the example of the dormant. Last is extinct volcanoes. Those volcanoes which have not erupted for hundreds of years. There is no possibility of any eruption in the future, and these volcanoes are also called dead volcanoes because no eruption takes place. The two examples of extinct volcanoes are Kilimanjaro in Africa and Rainier in USA. Next topic is distribution of volcanoes. Most of the world's active volcanoes, they form a circular belt around the Pacific Ocean, and that is why that belt is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. You can see in the picture where is Pacific Ring of Fire, and this ring coincides with the edge of the lithospheric plates, means where this ring is meeting, where this is coinciding with the land surface, it is at the Pacific Ocean. The second belt of volcanoes is found along the Mediterranean Sea, and that belt is called Midward Mountain Belt. This belt has mostly the volcanoes which are dormant and the extinct volcanoes. Now you can see the picture of Fujiyama in Japan. It is one of the world's most beautiful volcanic mountain. Similarly, the Deccan Plateau of India was also formed due to the fissure eruption, means due to this type of volcanic eruption it was formed, where the black soil is there rich for cultivation of cotton in India. So with this we come to an end of our first video. Rest I'll teach you in the next video.